Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode from Your Own Pathway. For those who don't know me, my name is Paya. I'm a trained psychotherapist, turned empowerment life coach, organizational leadership consultant, where I bring my skills, my expertise, and my knowledge to empower all of you to forge your own path and to own it. So, my goodness, did I stumble there? You guys notice anything different? Yes, my background today is Purple Rain, and I am live from the Twin Cities area. So if anybody loves Prince, knows Prince, Purple Rain is all about Prince. So I'm going all Prince today. So, anyways, welcome to another episode from Your Own Pathway. I hope you all are having a wonderful week, wonderful day, whatever it is that you are having. I hope it's wonderful. I hope you're safe, and I hope you are well rested. So, this episode today is inspired by a lot of things and inspired by my own professional work and working with clients, my own personal experience, and honestly, I'm not going to lie, a lot of things going on in the world right now where I noticed that we as in humans, a lot of us allow ourselves to be boxed in from our past, due to our past, and a lot of it is due to our trauma. So this episode, we're getting real, we're getting raw, we're getting right into it. And you know, in my work with my clients, I noticed that a lot of my clients who were children of immigrants, first, second generation, and I would say first generation college students or who are first generation professional students tend to have this guilt that they feel that they have to box themselves in order to continuing to relate to their background, to the people around them, and remain loyal to that because they feel a sense of being disloyal if they choose not to box themselves in related to their background, their trauma, or whatever it is. And let's be honest here. Let's get right into it. Guys, a lot of us keep to this box of trauma or to our past. Again, due to loyalty, due to fear, and especially judgment. And again, I see a lot of this with my first, second generation children of immigrants, and again, first generation children who are professionals, who are forging their own path, or who are trying to forge their own path and try to own it, and yet feel guilty for forging their path and for owning it. And so, trauma is very sneaky, and it's not always loud. Sometimes it's invisible, and it's not the kind of scars that you see in scars, but the kind that you feel in your beliefs. Beliefs like, I have to earn love, or I can't trust people, or if I speak up, I'll be abandoned, or my success will make people resent me, and I'm too broken to start over. Anybody's watching this, let me know. Have you felt this way, or has anybody said that to you? And if you feel comfortable sharing in the comments, please do so. Otherwise, think about this. Think about all of this. And if somebody has said this to you, or if you have even said this to yourself, before you know it, you're not really living. You're just managing. You're not choosing. You're coping. And without realizing it, your world gets smaller and smaller. But here's the truth: your trauma is part of your story, but it is not your whole story. I'll say that again. Your trauma is part of your story, but it is not your whole story. It may have shaped you, but it does not define you. And a lot of people, unfortunately, feel that their trauma is their whole identity and make it part of their whole identity. I'm going to say it again, it does not define you or shape you. So, how do we stop letting our trauma box us in from forging our own path, from owning it, and from living the life that is aligned and that is truly meaningful, that is aligned to your values, your ethics, whatever it is that you're looking for? So, number one is call the box for what it is. And what this means is name the pattern is the first act of freedom. I'll say that again. Name the pattern is the first act of freedom. Like, what kind of pattern are you noticing? What kind of pattern are you noticing about your trauma? Do you notice that you are playing small? Do you notice when you say yes, but you really mean no, but you don't want to disappoint someone? And so maybe part of your trauma is people pleasing because you want to earn people's love. Or notice when you're shrinking to stay safe. Oof. I felt that one. I definitely felt that one. And honestly, that is one that I continue to work on every day. And I don't ever think it's going to be ending. Especially when you come from a culture that tells you, hey, don't make a lot of noise, just keep your head down. Don't be tall, just shrink in and fit in with everybody else so that you don't cause drama or that you don't get noticed. So, number one is call the box for what it is. Number two, don't confuse safety with stagnation. So, trauma can make us crave predictability. Crave the predictability and stability. But the predictability isn't the same as peace. Mhm. Healing often means stepping into the unknown, even when it feels uncomfortable. And I see so much of this. I think this is why a lot of people are unhappy because a lot of us, especially when you come from trauma, when you come from instability, when you don't know when your next meal is going to come from, you don't know if your lights are going to be on, you don't know if certain bills are going to be paid, and you finally get that stability and that predictability, it feels very safe. And sometimes in that safeness, it becomes kind of stagnant. And I can definitely say that I've dealt with this in my personal life too. And so I had to really work on what it is that I wanted from my life. I had to work on my why and I had to get my clarity. And I realized that my safety caused a lot of stagnation and that I wasn't happy. And then if I wanted to be happy, I had to make some serious changes. And that included unpredictability, instability in certain areas of my life. However, I can tell you all right now that I am living a very aligned and peaceful life as I continue to forge my path and to own it also. So don't confuse safety with stagnation. Moving on to number three is choose alignment over approval. I kind of talked about this, and a lot of trauma response behaviors is about keeping the peace. How many of you who are watching this have been told, just keep the peace? Just because your uncle or aunt or your brother said something that it's offensive or they didn't mean it, they don't know better. You have to keep the peace because you know better. They don't know better. So you have to keep the peace. A lot of us have been told to keep the peace, to not rock the boat. And whose peace are you keeping? You're keeping other people's peace, but you're not keeping your own peace. What does that cost you when you keep other people's peace but not your own? I remember a lot of my clients, we talked about this. is when they came up with, not came up with, but when they came in a session to discuss family conflict, and they were always told to keep the peace. You all have heard of this, and I've said this in my other episodes too, but the people that who come into therapy are the ones who are learning how to deal with people who won't go to therapy. And oftentimes, they're the ones that have been told to keep the peace because the other person has never been accountable in keeping their peace. And so, you, the client, or you as a person, have been told to keep the peace. And I always ask, what is that peace costing you? What is that peace costing you to keep everybody else's peace but your own? That's not peace. That is performance. That is performance. And at some point, you're going to be like, I'm done performing. I'm done playing a role. I'm done playing the script. I'm done with this shit. So, choosing alignment over approval is number 3. Number 4 is reclaim your voice. You're allowed to say, I'm not who I was when that happened. Or you're allowed to want joy. You're allowed to want success. And you're allowed to want love on your terms. Reclaim your voice. We've been told that we had to live by somebody else's voice, values, and ethics. And when you dare say those things, you're going to be accused of selfishness, of not thinking about anybody else but your own. And so you continue to box yourself in your trauma, and you're not allowed to reclaim your voice. And reclaiming your voice and allowing yourself out of that box, the box of trauma, you're going to be so powerful once you reclaim your voice. Number 5, find your soul support. Healing is very hard when you try to do it alone, especially when it is the people that who you grew up with, who are your family, your friends, whoever it is that is supposed to be your soul tribe or your soul supporter, and you realize that they're actually the ones who are against you. They're the ones that want to keep boxing you into that trauma because it makes everybody else feel comfortable. And when you realize, when you're ready to forge your own path and you own it, like you all are trying to make me small. And I need to go find my soul tribe to help me and to surround myself with like minded people who are ready to do this or who are already doing it. So find spaces where you feel safe, seen, and supported. And this may include therapy, coaching, friendships, community, whatever it is that aligns with you. I know a lot of people are like, I don't need therapy. And as a therapist or someone who practices therapist, I am not going to push therapy on you. You have to decide if therapy is for you. So find the soul support that you need. Number 6 is let your expansion be louder than your fear. You are not put here to just survive. You were meant to thrive. And I think that is the biggest part about all of this is your trauma is trying to box you in to say, hey, you know what? We come from a family, we come from a lineage where it's all about pain, suffering. That's all we know. And to feel anything else is uncomfortable. And we don't know how to deal with happiness. We don't know how to deal with joy. We don't know how to deal with thriving. That's not in our blood. And so we have to keep continuing this. You can be the generation curse breaker. You can be the one who breaks the curses, the emotional trauma bonds, the generational guilt by letting your expansion be louder than your fear. And this is why everybody is trying to box you in your trauma. Because if they can't thrive, how dare you? You don't get to thrive. And so you have to be willing again to break the curses of the bonds, the guilt, the trauma, and learn how to thrive. It may be you. You may be the first person to ever show anybody else in the family that, hey, you know what? We don't have to survive. We don't have to suffer. We can thrive. And look at me, I'm thriving. I'm thriving. And when I say thrive, I just don't mean money. And yes, of course, money helps a lot. Don't get me wrong, money can help with a lot of things. Thriving means more than just money. Thriving could be, you know what? Look at me. I am doing what I love. I am challenging the status quo. I check my own boxes of success and look how happy I am. We were all told that we had to do this and I chose not to. Or look at me. I am so strong about my boundaries. This is why I don't come around toxicity. And I want to protect me and my family and my kids. And I'm thriving because of this. So, you were never meant to live in a box. And I know society, everybody else wants to put us in that box. But you were never to be in that box. You were meant to be rooted, to rise, to bloom far beyond that stupid ass box. I said it, that stupid ass box. And if today you've taken one step outside that box, darling, you are one step closer. And each small step that you take makes a huge difference. A lot of people think that you have to make huge strides, and you don't have to make huge strides. It's in those baby footsteps that you make that you dare yourself to make. And if today again you've already taken one step outside the box, baby, you are already winning. So don't allow your past, don't allow your loyalty, don't allow other people to box you in that trauma just because they think that's where you belong or because that's where you make other people comfortable. So I hope this episode was very helpful and hope that this episode can empower anybody who's watching this to realize that you can forge your own path and you can own it. And that starts by not allowing yourself to be boxed in your trauma, your past, your wounds, your pain, and especially other people's pain. When other people are in pain, they don't see anything else and they want you to be part of that pain, and you don't have to be part of their pain. So that is all I have for you all today. If you like this episode, please hit the like button, and if you like my other episodes, please hit the subscribe button. But I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. And it was kind of a short episode, but I wanted to really emphasize that don't let your past, don't let other people's expectations to box you into something in what they think that you deserve. So again, that is all I have, and I will see you all next time. Thank you.